Welcome to the U.S. Immigration Talk live broadcast that we do every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, live on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and actually for Instagram, I got to redo it, some sort of live air. But we're all over these places. Best place to watch is on YouTube and ask questions because that's the more chance of getting your questions answered. TikTok get a lot of questions, but we're bombarded with like stuff, so it gets a little hard. Actually, we can't use X anymore. It seems like they shut it off unless you have a premium membership. But you know, it is what it is. Let's see. Why is Instagram not working? Well, I'll only talk about other stuff while I get that ready. Having said that, this is all intended for not intended as individual legal guidance. This is just for general guidance about your immigration case. So as people are tuning in, please start posting your questions. Behind the scenes, I'll be fixing stuff up. Thank you for joining the questions. Try not to ask questions about timelines because those are very difficult to answer, those kind of questions. But having said that, we're going to do longer analysis of your issues and stuff. And who knows, we might go live with somebody. Okay, Instagram says preview, connect stream live to go. Okay, it's connected. Let me make sure this connected. Edit and fix that. But you know, two things. One is download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It could really fill you in on what's going on in the immigration process. It's free. It's the ultimate marriage green card guide that we have. Not go live on Instagram today, it seems. I shouldn't have reset my computer in the middle of things. Let's see. It's remove Instagram, and then we bring it back. That's what's going to have to happen. Okay, I see. All right, so things. marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. Secondly, the executive order for Biden seems to be coming through. Hopefully, we'll get it in the next couple of weeks. Break down how it actually is going to work because we don't know that yet. I mean, we have an idea it's going to work, but we don't have the exact information yet. So the best thing to do is just keep an eye on these videos or schedule a time with us to talk so we can go through it together or have your name together in our process. Oh, mic's not close to my mouth. Hopefully y'all pick that up. And that'll like set you up for what we need to do to get your case up and running. Today's a special day. I've hurt my back from sitting down too much. So we're doing the live podcast like we used to do for the last, for many years from the beginning, which is doing it standing up. So that's going to be a cool thing to have right there as we get it in. Let's take some quick questions. Destiny asks, hi there. Thank you for this. I want to make sure that we should put estimated income on the I-134 for K1. People are saying they put the same number as on total income. I've been I-134. Usually you put estimated income based on current income. What do you expect it to be? So if you made $50,000 last year, but it seems like $70,000, and you have pay stubs to prove it, you put that number, but also you put the tax info and said tax returns, and then it's discretion. They'll get it together. So it's not that big deal. As long as you're making more than enough, that should work. Okay, TikTok. Okay, we got questions on TikTok. My 221G expired for my daughter, although docs were uploaded. Contact them to keep the case alive. Steek says, if I enter through the border, I have a work permit. Can I apply for EB3 visa? Probably not. Depends on what kind of case you have, but we have to see. Nadia says, can you overstay a tourist visa, get forgiveness? Depends on how you're going to get forgiveness. Is it a 245I? Is it a marriage to U.S. citizen case? There's different ways. Atta says, I applied for a green card, but I forgot removing conditions of my green card. Please need advice. Schedule consultation ASAP. You could do late filing of the I-75 removal of conditions. It's possible. You probably need to do it as soon as possible to avoid going to immigration court if you're not there already. But that's a private consultation. Email us jqqlaw.com/contact so we could figure out how to fast as possible prep a I-751, maybe even a skeleton I-751 package, just to land it in. Plus, you get the automatic extension, so it holds you over it for work, travel, all that. Lamont says, hi, sir. Any idea how fast cases are recently? That's like asking, any idea how fast the planes are traveling today? I mean, I can't advise you on that. Any questions, frankly, I'll say from the beginning about timelines, I'm not able to answer. So you have questions about timelines, you're asking over again, I'm gonna have to mute you because if you ask multiple times, but timelines is not something I can answer. Chris says, how important are text communications in a fiance visa since I don't have much because new phone? It's not important at all. You just find other ways to prove your relationship. Destiny follows up, yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Elizabeth says, can you appeal a K1 visa denial? Probably not, unless it depends on what the reason for denial is, but normally no. That's why we don't really like doing fiance visas. The marriage case is better, but it depends on the reason and if it's a refusal versus denial. They just have to get more into it. Elizabeth says, good evening, John. Good evening. I got my green card 2022 November. My husband born in America. Can I file citizenship now or when? Well, I don't know your individual case, but if you got your green card and been living when your spouse is a U.S. citizen, obviously born in America, you've been living with your spouse for 3 years after getting the green card, you can file for U.S. citizenship then. So that's 2025. If you got your green card November 2022, November 2025 is the 3-year mark. You can file 90 days before that. So around August 2025, you satisfy all the requirements. August 2025 would be on the earliest you can file. Unless your spouse is in the military or a multinational company that's easy to be sent for, maybe you could do it sooner. There's always exceptions to everything. That's the general picture. Jawar, good day, Immigration USA Green Card Program. Thank you. Good day to you too. And okay, I fostered a child from Honduras. She was 12, now she's 18. How she can be a citizen? I don't know. I have to see what's going on. We don't really handle adoption cases. Fostering won't do anything. Venezuela, parole, then TPS. Can I apply to bring my wife here? I don't know. Can your wife go on the parole program? Maybe. I don't know. But I have to see what's going on. I don't know. Thank you for your service. You're welcome. Thank you, Nishek. Atlab, U.S. visa current year. I don't know. Noah says, why does it take so long for USA's remove conditions? Because they're backed up. They don't have many officers handling these cases. Keon, good to see you. He says, hi, John. After attending the interview in Montreal, my wife's case was refused under 221G. I'd like to know if I can take legal action. Not really. I mean, Keon, that's why you don't want to avoid due consular processing at all costs. Maybe after a year, you could sue on it, maybe sooner. I think your wife may be Iranian, so you might get hit with a travel ban if Trump's coming back. It's a domino effect disaster. That's why you want to avoid consular processing if you don't have to. But I don't remember all the details because it's been a while since we talked, but that happens. And there's no idea how long it's going to take. What is 214B? When can you apply back? 214B is them deny your case because they think that you're going to come to the United States and not leave. You could just refile immediately, but still have the same problem. Destiny, how would you recommend presenting child support as income? All we have are the statements from. I don't have to see the documents. I don't like using child support as income, but if it's considered income, I don't know. It's up to the embassy how strict they want to be on their interpretation of income and stuff. But you just show the income statements, proof that you're getting the money, and then the like deal you have and stuff. But it's up to the embassy if they want to prove that or not. I typically wouldn't want to use that. I want to have like some W-2 income, like regular paycheck income. Keon, thanks. It's good to see you as well. Thanks, brother. I wish you all the best in your spouse. Saeed, priority date, Abu Dhabi interview. I don't have timeline answers. I'm a citizen, want to fix my dad. He was caught crossing the border. Can I help him? It depends. Did he get expedited removal or not? Was there like false claim to citizenship at the border? Did he try again and get caught by the permanent ban? So Guillermo, we got to talk with you and your dad. Probably do a FOIA request from the OBIM to see exactly what the interaction was. We have the CBP as well. A FOIA request is a Freedom of Information Act request to get a copy of your file. So we got to get all that information. It's like going to the doctor. We got to do a blood test. We got to do a heart test. We got to do a this test and that test. And then once we know, I can advise you on that. So please schedule a consultation. jqqlaw.com/contact is the place to go. S money something. What will happen after fees are waived? Like, what is the next step by USCIS? It depends on your case. I don't know what kind of case you have. The fee waiving is unimportant. Essentially, you get a receipt. That's not important. Did Biden new law go through yet? It's not a law. It's an executive order. Essentially acts as a law. And he could do it unless he gets sued and they stop him. But we don't have the full idea of what's going on yet. They haven't announced it. Charita asks, if you're married to a green card holder, can you get out of status after filing the I-485 is pending? I'm still in status. Once you file for adjustment of status, if it was properly filed, you no longer need to maintain lawful status. I recommend doing it if you can, but if you can't, it's still okay as long as you don't do other violations. So I have to do a full analysis of what's going on with you, but probably it's okay. And I got to not talk so loud because it's burning out my throat already. All right, Juaro answered that. Mujib says, USAID made multiple errors for my kid's application year 222 and priority was current. He's turning 18. Is there any way to fight for justice? The guy EDAP due to registration. I don't know what they did. Probably not. You can do. I mean, I can't say whether something's possible or not without reviewing your case. Most likely, there's nothing you could do. If you got the EAD and AAP, just be happy with that. Unless you want to spend a bunch of money on lawyers and not without a clear outcome. Abdullah says, I'm a citizen. I filed I-130 for spouse in Canada. How long does it take the interview? Forever. Sidra, sorry, these timeline stuff I'm not going to be able to answer. So how long is the process? You guys can schedule private consultations. 20% chance I'm going to give you a good answer of how long it's going to take. Like, for example, when your I-130 case is approved by USCIS and you're doing consular processing, for the last year and a half, it takes 3 to 7 days for USCIS to transfer the case to the National Visa Center. Right now, we have cases taking 60 plus days. So when you ask how long, it's like, okay, I don't know. Plus, a gentleman right now said they went to the embassy interview and their case has been stuck for 6 months now after the interview. When you ask how long it takes, it could be 3 months. It could be 3 years. And I don't like giving worthless answers. So that's why I don't want to even answer it because it's worthless. Plus, I got to do this whole explanation, and it stops the flow of actually meaty answers of actually like what I could like guide that's different from other people. Fake timelines is worthless. So I don't like talking about that. Moose says, I have a U.S. passport. I don't have naturalized citizenship. Is there a problem for my spouse and NBC? Probably not. But if you became a citizen later, it's better to have a certificate of citizenship or something. But that as long as you got your citizenship properly, it doesn't matter. If you're married to a green card holder, can you get out of status? I already answered that. I think we answered on YouTube. Sidra, I'm going to have to mute you. You keep asking the same question over and over again. Okay. So anyone who asks the same question over and over again, unfortunately, has to be muted because it makes it impossible to keep up what's going on. Okay. Roof says, how long does it take to set up an appointment for medical? It varies. Okay. USA citizenship application, DUI case was dismissed, and 2 speeding tickets. I don't want to wait 5 years. We got to see what's going on with the case. I can't advise on that. But you give it a shot probably, but I can't advise on filing a case like that right now. Musa says, got it through diversity visa, no other way. It's probably okay, but you should have it's better to have a naturalization certificate. They could have problems with it. I haven't seen it be a problem, but it's better to have it. That's that. And especially if you change your name, you need to have that. Okay. Crystal, he can't tell you how long it takes. Yeah. Thank you, Crystal. I don't do removal cases. So when you talk about cancellation removal and stuff, I don't advise on that. Love and happiness. So if I get married to a green card holder, how early can I adjust status per August visa bulletin? It depends on what your priority date is. So if your priority date is current based on the visa bulletin, you can file adjustment then if you have other things that are okay. DS 5535 conclusion, there's none. It's like open-ended. Mela, my MVC said my K1 visa is ready, but I didn't get my invoice number. If you have a K1 visa, you don't get an invoice ID number. You just get a case number, but you really have to wait for the embassy to contact you. The problem with Fiance visas is every embassy has a different process for the K1 visa. And so any guidance I give you generally may not be related to the embassy you have. Plus, they update this stuff without telling us. So that's an annoying thing about a Fiance visa. Another reason why we avoid the Fiance visa. But yeah, if the embassy contacts you the case number, that's good. But for most embassies, you got to wait for them to contact you to say get it started. You might want to fill out the form DS-160 and have it prepped. Just renew it log in every 30 days so it doesn't get canceled. But that's some info right there. Babylon says, Baby Ronald says, if you filed an I-130 and indicated consular processing, can you still change by entering U.S. and adjust status? It's possible. You shouldn't come to the United States with a non-immigrant visa that doesn't allow dual intent and adjust status. That could be bad. But generally, you can do that. Do that all the time. People change their mind, decide to stay, and we file adjustment of status. The opposite is a headache. If you say, I want to do adjustment of status, and then you switch to consular processing, that becomes a major nightmare because you got to file from I-824, and it's a huge waste of time. Destiny, do you know any services that help with my joint sponsoring? I don't, unfortunately. I don't think it's even allowed. Shadi says, if I'm an LPR green card holder, my spouse's B1, B2 visa that extends to 29, can we file just immediately after spouse's entry to U.S. or should we wait 90 days detention of fraud? I can't advise people how to get around rules like this. If they enter without the intent to do adjustment status and they stay, that's fine. A B1 that extends to 2029, it doesn't work that way. The way you're interpreting how a visa works is incorrect, but I'm not getting into it here. Please schedule a private consultation, but it's doable if someone comes here on tourist visa and decides to adjust based on marriage. If the case is current, yada, yada, it's possible. But there's just too many different things we got to talk about, which I don't want to talk about here. HA says, I have an approved F4 petition filed 16 years ago. I'm in the U.S. for second time, B1, B2, want to apply F1, change the status for F4. This is too individualized. Again, this all goes to immigrant intent. I can't advise people to skirt the rules and do a tourist visa with the intent just status. There's other people on their lives. They say, yeah, do this, do that. I think that's, it's against the rules for you to just come and say someone to do that. So I got to leave it at that. Destiny's Rule says, yeah, I wish the government would share that on their website that every embassy varies K1. I've never done the K1 if I knew. Yeah, what's even more annoying, they have a website that specifies each embassy what they do. But when you go to the website, the information is outdated or like you click on the country is not there. So it's a huge mess. K1 spend a lot of money because what happens with Fiance visas, once you get the Fiance visa, whoever that is, you have to come to U.S., get married, and then apply for a green card and spend another $2,500 in legal fees average. And then maybe do an interview, wait 8 months for to get a green card, maybe take months to get work authorization. You're stuck here without travel permission. I'm talking really fast. It just goes to show how annoyed I am about the K-1 visa process. Don't recommend it. 1 out of 100 cases need a K-1 visa. If the people really want to come to U.S. and live together for 3 months before they get married, or I mean, come on, that'd be one thing. Like there's really very few reasons. If you have children that are like 19 and they're going to be stepchildren, that's like a nuanced rule to get them a green card as well. But again, it's like 1 out of 100 where it's wise to do a K-1 visa. But you see a lot of people say the opposite of me, so it is what it is. But that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. Talk says, I submitted my question via DM. That's not how we do things. If you want a private consultation, schedule a time, jqqlaw.com/contact. So on says, how can I invest in the U.S. stock market as an F1 student visa? You can invest stock market if you like. It doesn't really matter. You're not allowed to work. Anyone can invest in the United States. Well, not everyone. If you're from like, I don't know, some Iranian government or Russian government, you probably can't. But MK says, how can I stop someone from coming to USA? I will. I don't have any advice on that. Abukar says, at a court hearing, we don't do court hearings, so I can't help you on that. What's a good way to extend your visa as a Canadian? You file an extension of your visa. That's it. Abdullah, can I sue USS if marriage is pending over 16 months, married to USCIS, married to a U.S. citizen? Not really. 60 months is like, I don't know what part of the process is potentially too long, but if you do a marriage adjustment, 60 months pending, that's it's a little above average right now, but it's nothing to do about. Please talk about I-765 waiver. There's no I-65 waiver. I'm not sure what you mean. I think it might be the I-751 waiver. That's a long conversation. It's too much to go here. If I came on a K-1 visa, Joe Biden cover it. It depends on what you're trying to do. Like, because if you got married to the U.S. citizen, you don't need a waiver. So the Joe Biden's waiver is if you overstayed. And if you enter on a K-1, you have to get married to the person that you came with, or else you got to leave or do asylum. There's no two ways about it for that one. Deegan says, my mom's waiting for I-130 interview a year. That's normal. Yeah, it's probably, yeah. You're welcome, Mella. Rickard, USA has lost my documents and we sent an inquiry, also resubmitted the paper. How long is it for? I don't know. Then probably nothing's going to help. When they lose your paperwork, there's nothing you can do other than spending money and redoing the whole thing over again. Essentially getting an I-90 and something like that. I don't know what document you lost, so I can't say per se, but it's just not going to be good. Peggy says, my fiance has been approved in the U.S. for a visa. It has gone to embassy Nigeria, has a long visa. It's going to take forever. Nigeria is not moving forward. Ex Javiera, my K-1 visa case sent the evidence. USCIS asked for we do get letter in the mail once received. I'm not sure what you're asking, but I don't know. I haven't seen what you sent them, what they're asking for. I can't really answer that. Sohan, if I do master's in the U.S., will I get the same value in job market as a student who did undergrad? This is not an immigration question. That's like how sharp you are and what kind of job you get. I had my N336 hearing decision for naturalization 6 months ago. Still an answer. What should I do? We shouldn't have filed for N336. You probably should just refile the NATS case. N336 very rarely is it appropriate. And the way we get around it, if there was a serious error by USCIS, a good immigration attorney would try to go behind the scenes and solve stuff with no filing fees. And that's the good attorneys we are. I've solved these problems without even doing a hearing and paying for it. But it depends on what the issue was. But that's a tip of my own hat that I was able to solve some issues like that. Fine, since you asked this question a million times, you broke our rules. I don't have to mute you from there on. If you want to schedule a private consultation, jqqlaw.com/contact. I don't know if I can do anything about your N336 case, but we see why we even needed N336. N336, for those just tuning in, is you had a citizenship case. It was denied at the interview, and it's an appeal of that. Okay, what's a good way to answer those questions? What's required for a green card renewal process? Depends on what kind of green card renewal from I-90 or I-751. Read the instructions and depends on your case type. Patricia, can I apply for H-1 visa while I'm on an AED? I'm not sure what you mean. There's no AED or being on an AED. I'm not sure what that is. Is waiver for larceny over 1,200 a felony? I don't go into immigration stuff. We don't handle cases where people have criminal history at our firm. DACA recipients eligible for Biden waiver? Probably, but it depends. Were you married to a U.S. citizen before June 2024 or not? And is your criminal history clear? And what's your background? So it's not as simple to answer that. How long is I-730? 3 months to 30 months. What's your thought about the Welcome Course program? I don't have any thoughts about it. It's not per se immigration related, so it's not something to deal with. It's been 185 days since my asylum is pending, but they haven't approved my I-765 app yet. That's immigration, really. Patricia, can I apply for H-1 visa? I answered that question, which is your question not clear. Adam Sanam, we have to kick you out. You can ask the same question a million times. Sorry, brother. And then love and happiness. How long is I-130 approval? Anyone who's living inside the U.S.? It varies depending on what kind of case it is, the background, the field office. I don't have an answer for that. Okay, Patricia. Again, like I've answered every question. So if you're asking questions, I'll repeat. I don't have to kick you out or mute you. Albany says, how can I travel with my minor kids with a green card come to America? I don't know. Like if they have green cards, they come with you. If they have visas, they come with you. If they have passports, I'm not sure how you travel. I'm not sure what the issue is. So you haven't specified what the issue is. So that is not something I can answer. Pinky says, how many months do you get a conditional green card? 3 months, 3 years. Shabana, my fiance got his interview next month. What's the question they ask in interview? It depends on your background. I mean, how you met, what his background issue is, how you fill out his DS-160, what your finances are. It could be a lot of different things. Patricia, working permit. So working permit is not status, so you can't do anything from there. Biden is potentially going to change some stuff that's helpful, but the actual what it is that he's doing is not clear yet for your kind of case, if you even come under it. Oscar says, my uncle petitioned my dad back in 2001. I-24 is approved. Can I adjust now? I-24 is not for adjustment. So I-24 is to send the case to the embassy, but you're saying I'm in the United States. I don't want to do embassy. So it's incongruent what you're telling me. Schedule a consultation, jqklaw.com/contact, jqklaw.com/contact. All right, let's go to YouTube questions. Alan, is it easy to transfer the case for interview from one embassy to another? And how long does it take? How much does it cost? It depends on if you're able to transfer. So it depends. All this depends. Which embassy you're going to, what's the reason, if you have status in that embassy in that country, how long they want to take. Could be a day, it could be months, how much it costs. It doesn't cost the government fees anything, but attorney-wise, we have to see what's going on. So all of it has to be analyzed on an individual level. Destiny says, okay, last question. Do you have to adjust status immediately, or can I wait until my tax return came to show past income, even if current income is okay? You just have to get married within 90 days. You could file adjustment status whenever you want after that. If you get married after 90 days, you still get a green card based on that marriage, but you have to submit Form I-130 as well. HA, what's the best way to prove that there is an immigrant intent when changing from B1 to F1? There's no best way to prove it. It's just the case-by-case basis, how they feel about it. Ali, how long is I-130 taking for spouse of a green card holder doing consular processing? I-130 is probably taking 2 years, but there's a backlog for the visa bulletin, Ali. So how long the I-130 is taking doesn't matter at all, frankly. If you're doing consular processing, it's more like, is the visa bulletin moving? And it didn't move last month. And if you want to get information, I wish I said this sooner, go to my guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, the ultimate marriage green card guide. It explains with video links and all this kind of stuff about what the visa bulletin is to be able to answer your question. Because that's, if you knew the background of what you're talking about, you wouldn't even ask the question because you'd understand the visa bulletin and know that I-130 makes no difference as it currently is, unless your I-130 is taking 5 years, which it really shouldn't take that long. Marriageimmigrationlaw.com. If you got a fiance marriage case, download the ultimate marriage green card guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. You're gonna be like, dang, John just gave away the farm. You know, he told us everything we need to do essentially. But hey, check it out. And then if you want to schedule a consultation to get individual guidance, schedule time with us. Julia, August 1st will be a year since USA has received the papers. Yeah, that's a year is not a big deal in immigration timelines. HA, if a petition is an MVC since 2019 but never received the approval notice from USCIS, should I ask for duplicate? I'm not sure if that's necessary or not. If the case was approved, I don't know. HA, I got to check it out for myself. Peggy, are you serious? Is US visa is good through September 29th? I thought it would take only 30 days. Peggy, I don't remember what question it was, so I'm not sure what's in reference to what you're saying. Salami, how are you? Doing good. Priority date, I don't have to answer how long it takes. Hey, man, I'm leaving the USA, married with USA citizen. I'm living you. Okay. Download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Timeline questions, I can't answer that. I can't answer any timeline questions. I-130 is approved 3 months ago, but I-45 is still pending. Why? That's the government for you. Pinky, while waiting for conditional green card, apply for citizenship? Yeah, if it's an appropriate case. It's 9 years. I'm living in USA, right? Living, L-I-V-I-N, not leaving. Leaving means leaving the country. And get married without, can I be allowed to get my status? It depends. Did you enter lawfully? Do you have clear criminal history? Does your partner, your spouse make enough income? We gotta look into this stuff. Okay, we're getting a lot of repeats. I'm gonna have to start muting people. I mean, the show ends in 7 minutes, so don't kill it, guys. Don't ask the same question. Okay, too much same question. I have to mute you. Ravi, it's 9 years. We answered that question. Cynthia, since my husband has I-130 approved, will it be faster for new PIP? Not really. Not really. Okay, so let's go. Ali says, is I-130 for spouse of a green card holder linked to visa bulletin, or is that for green cards in the picture? I-130 based on spouse or green card holders fully on the visa bulletin is F2A. You gotta look at the final action date to get an idea of how long these are taking. Those timelines are not reliable either. Moose says, what happens to my old I-130 I-284 if my new I-130 goes to NBC? And that one's still there. I'm not sure you wouldn't want to use that one. Why you got a new one? So I don't know what's going on in your case. But if you didn't, if it could get canceled by NBC if you didn't communicate on the case to keep it open. But I don't know. Talk says, can you comment on a J1 waiver for a current F1 holder who's married U.S. citizen? Former, yeah, you got to get the waiver essentially. Hopefully you weren't medical student for it, but you got to get the waiver before you could file adjustment of status. A lot of times, so what happens is if you come to the U.S., what's called a J1 visa. Xavier, I did answer your question in detail, so that's that. But let's go back into this. So a J1 visa, cultural exchange visitor, but essentially it's open-ended. You come here to work and study and all this kind of stuff. Some of them say that if you come here and learn something, you got to go back to your home country for 2 years to bring back the knowledge and education you've gained in the United States to the country, your home people. But if you don't do that, you can't get a green card or an H visa or an L visa or change status in the United States or just status in the United States. So, there's a waiver for it. You have to apply. And a lot of times you get married couples, because we focus on marriage green card cases. Check it out, our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And the people come to me and they're like, oh, you have a J1? Oh, you're subject to a 2-year home residency requirement. You got to get that waived at the minimum by the Department of State before you can file for adjustment of status. Caused a lot of delays. The Department of State's backed up. We have one pending like 6-7 months now. It should be done already, but that's an annoying part of the government. But that's that. You got to wait a waive. Xavier, after sending evidence of relationship to USA for K1, would I get the next notice or fiance? The petitioner deals with USCIS, so you would get the notices. Sorry, your questions, you get it, yeah. All right. So Sunny, I-13 answer that question. Robbie, blah, blah, blah. Cynthia, my question is skipped. I just answered, Xavier. I don't have legal entry. Robbie, we got to schedule a private consultation to see what's going on. Go to jqklaw.com/contact, message us so we have a private consultation to see if there's some exceptions for your. Hopefully, you don't need a waiver. Maybe the Biden parole program will help you. I don't know. I got to see what's going on in your life. Mariam, what would you recommend for a person patrolled into the U.S. from Canada? I don't know. It depends on your background and what you've been up to. Louis says, I have an I-7 fine pending since 2021 Nebraska. Is that normal wait? I-7, yeah, no, it's 3 years. That's out of control a little bit. It's considered normal by USCIS, but in practice, not really. We'd have to if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you probably should have filed for citizenship, but I don't know. Schedule a private consultation. We look into it, see what's going on. Cynthia says, new parole in place is set to be ready for end of summer. Do you foresee it being end of August? I can't guess the future. I wish I could. I'd be a very, very rich man. I'd go in the stock market or go gambling in Vegas. Although I don't believe in gambling. Stock market and gambling, they're both the same thing. If you knew the future, you'd guess it. But having said all that nonsense, but there's no way for me to know. All you could do is, we know you need 10 years of residency requirement. So start getting the 10 years documents together and talk with lawyers sooner. So you talk about the income requirements, see what that is, your background review for I-485 purposes and admissibility issues, your joint relationship documents. Have all that ready so it's faster to get in. Because a lot of people are going to be filing. It's going to be a backlog emerging from it. What's the easiest way to come to the United States? I want to come. Easiest way, cure cancer, and they'll give you an EB-1A green card. So that's an easy green card. I'm not sure how easy it is to cure cancer, but getting the green card is going to be really easy. Kimberly, what's going on with the case 23 marriage to a citizen? I'm not sure what's going on there. Handling people are getting green cards. We're getting green cards for people all day. Andre is married 5 years, but out of status due to signing voluntary departure for getting married options. I don't know. That's a private consultation right there. We got to see what happened. All right, let's go back to YouTube and the other ones. Thank you for answering all my questions. You're welcome. Wasa, we're about to end the show too in a couple minutes. Is it normal to only approve the I-130 and leave the I-485 pending? Is it because she has pending asylum? No, that kind of stuff happens. The I-485. Now, I don't know if it's normal in your case. I don't know what you said in your asylum case, what your history is. So I can't say what's normal for you, but it does happen more and more that the I-130 is approved and the I-485 takes longer to be approved. Unfortunately, that's become normal. But again, normal is normal. Like, let's say this way. How many people could guess it right now? What's the average woman? How many children does the average woman have? The normal average woman, 2.1 children. It was going to be a question I want to answer, but I answered it myself. So is it normal for women to have 2.1 children? No, it doesn't make sense. You can't have 2 children and 0.1 children. So you can't really say normal average. Depends on, some women have 1 child, when some have 4 children. Somehow or another, the average it out is 2.1, but that's the normal, quote unquote, but it's not normal because people don't have 2.1 children. They have 2 or 3 children, or 1, 2, 3, or none. So none of these questions regarding timelines or is this normal, none of it's different because each case is different. It's really back to your background. So that's why we got to do individual analysis. It's annoying because individual analysis requires you to pay a lawyer money. And obviously, I don't want to do that too. I don't want to hire lawyers. They're expensive. But at the end of the day, you want good advice, you got to give it. You know, getting a doctor, getting a lawyer, getting a ex-engineer, we got an overhead. We have to study a lot, and it costs money. Unfortunately, the system. I come here, try to give good advice or general guidance, and I have my guide, Marriage and Immigration Law. I come to help you. But that's the general situation with that. Having said that, if you have a pending asylum case, we always FOIA these cases because people say some crazy stuff in the asylum case that may not be consistent. We want to clean that up so they're not accused of fraud. So it's better you get a good lawyer to help you out on that. At this point, you're already almost done with the case, but you want to do that. You don't want to get caught up with the issue of the citizenship stage. So have a lawyer review your case. Schedule a time with their office. There are fees, but it's jqqlaw.com/contact. Whew, I feel like I'm like an old wrestler from WF area. Macho Man Randy Savage going wild here. But I love talking about U.S. immigration. If I do phone calls and consultations all day, if my throat permitted it and I had the ability, and the kids are coming home right now, I'd be talking for 3 hours and answering this stuff. And you see, I just get more excited talking about it. I love helping people with marriage immigration. That's one thing that's different. We have quality here. We have quickness, but we have care. And the care comes with the fact that we just love helping people with the immigration process. I don't know why I love it so much. It's kind of weird. I've tried to analyze it psychologically, but I don't know what it is. I love helping people talk about this stuff. It's pretty cool. So having said that, bunch of timeline questions. So sorry, we can't answer all that. Let's go to YouTube. Is our last one there? I guess that's it. 31 minutes. Let's call it a day. We'll be back Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific. Take your questions. However, we constantly do random pop-ups. So follow us on YouTube and on TikTok, U.S. Immigration Talk or JQK Law on YouTube, on Instagram as well, or what is it? I'm not sure what we're calling TikTok. Immigration or John probably, or something like that. But follow us because you might get notification. John's on live, and you can jump in and get it in addition to our regular scheduled time at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. We've had hundreds of people join so far on this video. And I guess let's call it a day with that. God bless everyone. Be safe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.